Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, subscribers, viewers, and YouTubers alike. This is Pillar to Post. It is May 1st, 2017, and we've got some wrestling news for you. Now, it's a little bit different layout, but this is our extra show. As you can see on next to me, I should go like this. We've got Billy Corgan news. We've got news on Sheamus and Matt Hardy attacking each other on Twitter. We've also got, we're going to talk about how much time there actually was for wrestling matches at Payback this 2017. We also are going to analyze Chris Jericho's schedule and the House of Horrors match. The house itself, was it on the market? Was it in the market? And where was it located? We're going to talk about that. BRYAN Alverez, just flat out, balls to the wall, just bitches out Sheamus. We also got comments from Andrea DeMarco on her release from WWE, and Hulk Hogan wanting to join the Bullitt Club. Now, if you don't laugh about that, I don't know. There's something wrong with you people. Also, Jack Swagger talks about him leaving WWE. So that is the topics we got today, and we are going to basically kickstart it right now with Billy Corgan. Now, Billy Corgan is back in the wrestling business, reportedly having purchased the NWA. Now, this came off a little bit of a surprise to myself because I figured after his last dalliance into the wrestling world with TNA, he basically lost his taste for it because of the screw job he ended up getting from Dixie Carter. But he is a persistent son of a bitch, Billy Corgan. Now, in just a second, I'm going to read the entire article, and I just wanted to set up for the next image on my screen here. And here's the article. In a long post detailing both the history of the National Wrestling Alliance, also known as NWA, and Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan's history in the wrestling business, PW Insider is reporting Corgan has purchased the NWA. What exactly that means is an open question. The exclusive story from PW Insider does not have any quotes from the former TNA president, but says multiple sources confirmed the deal in place would see Corgan purchase the name, rights, trademarks to the NWA, as well as the rights and possession of the NWA Championship belt. It does not have any answers as to what that means for independent promotions currently affiliated with the Alliance or its on-demand video service. In the heydays of the territories, the NWA was the governing body for regional promotions, and its championships the most well-known and prestigious. When Vince McMahon took the then WWF National, the Alliance became much less essential to the business. Its name was associated with WCW and TNA over the years, and the NWA has had relationships with Japanese promotions from time to time. Excuse me. During the current decade, the Alliance came to be owned by Texas promoter and lawyer Bruce Tharp, whose business model has been to license out the name to promotions for a fee. So clearly he's not in it for the wrestling, he's just in it for the money. Just give me a second here while I take a swallow. Now, Corgan was involved with ECW as an on-screen performer and behind the scenes with Chicago Indie Revolution Pro, before investing in and taking on creative for TNA last year. But you know, the train comes. He attempted to turn his investment into a purchase of the company, but after an unsuccessful court challenge, accepted a buyout from current owners Anthem Entertainment. Now, purchasing the NWA could be an entry back into the game, giving Billy a recognizable brand he can build up as he sees fit. Or It could be something else entirely. We'll have to wait to hear from him, but for the folks who like the direction TNA seemed to be going under Corgan in 2016, this could be good news and a lot of fun to speculate about. The way I see it, it could be a good thing. Now, if he is knowledgeable enough and he gets the right people surrounding him that are knowledgeable enough with the wrestling business, NWA could be something new to watch. It all depends on how he's going to run business or what he's actually going to do with it. But in the end, right now, we're not going to see anything of the NWA, especially with Corgan's purchase of it, until something actually significantly happens. For now, it's just a story, and we're going to stick to it. We're going to follow it, and we're going to bring it to you, the viewers. So, for now, all we can do is speculate what he's going to do with it. That's all we can do. And I'd rather do a lot more than just speculate. Up next, Sheamus on mocking the Broken Hardys and Matt threatening to eat him. Yes, he's going down that dark path once again, folks. Could the Sheamus and Cesaro heel turn be the catalyst for Matt Hardy to bring his broken brilliance to, and Jeff Hardy to become Brother Nero in WWE? That is the question everyone is asking right now, and my predictions for Payback had the Hardy Boys retaining their title in a clean victory, Sheamus and Cesaro turning heel and attacking them after the match. That all went as I thought it would. Now the question is, how are they going to handle the broken Hardys? Are they going to be thrust upon us, full-blown brokenness? I hope not. I want it in increments. I want it drawn out slowly and over time, and maybe by the next pay-per-view, we see the entirety of the broken brilliance that is Matt Hardy and his brother Nero. But until then, we will have to see. Actually, we'll be seen tonight. The article continues. Who knows? Considering how much fun it's been to see Matt sprinkle in elements of the character he made famous on Impact Wrestling last year into his current on-screen persona, it might be best if they don't rush into anything. And I like this guy's mindset. He agrees with me. So, how bad could he be? You know? But on social media, where Hardy's always been a little more forthcoming in discussing his personality conflict, the Great War may already be raging. Despite taking a loss in the Raw Tag title match last night, the Celtic Warrior is still taunting the potentially broken ones, specifically about costing Jeff a tooth during their battle in San Jose. And the Twitter remarks follow as such. We started off with Sheamus. Toothless and broken. Tonight was delightful. And Matt is not taking it very well, it seems. And he replied, "You obsolete heretics have no idea what you've just done." So, you can see he's not well. In fact, he's pulled out a gory vow he hasn't used much since he turned babyface with the broken gimmick. And he followed it up with, "An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You mundane mule from Ireland, I will eat you." Nice little finish to that back and forth scenario. I can't wait to see just a little bit more brokenness in Matt Hardy. I don't know if they're going to bring the whole Brother Nero bit into it, but maybe because of losing that tooth, we do start seeing that transformation with them too. I don't think they're planning on breaking up the Hardys just yet. I'm pretty sure they're going to wait till SummerSlam. That's when they're going to have that brand split, and they're going to split up the Hardy Boys so they both get good spots on rosters. You know, they don't want to have one overachieving and the other one kind of being held back. They want these guys to succeed, and they're going to do it at the same time on either show. So it's good to see. I'm always intrigued when these guys are starting to play around and having fun like this. Now, I have to just swap out to the next picture, and we will get going right there. And Payback. How much wrestling actually did happen at Payback? Well, WWE featured 7 total matches on the main card of Payback 2017 last night from the SAP Center in San Jose, California. The main card of this pay-per-view lasted 2 hours, 45 minutes, and 53 seconds. Here is a sorted list of the bell-to-bell times for the 7 matches that took place during this event. And I'm going to tell you right off the hop. I've said it right from the start when I did my review, my reactions, my results, that each match needed more time, especially the House of Horrors. They needed a lot more time in that house. There could have been so much more done in that house. Even, yes, it was set up shitty. It was a shitty fucking match. But what they did in that house could have been done so much better. I've had battles with my brothers in houses we've lived in, and we've left those houses trashed. And you really didn't see all that much damage to the house. You didn't really see anyone get, there wasn't enough violence. It should have been more violent. There should have been more time spent in the house. A lot more fighting, a lot more back and forth. Did not happen. That match, and they started the clock basically from when Randy Orton entered the house till Bray Wyatt came out. The clock stopped. Then, once Bray Wyatt's entrance music stopped playing when he was standing in the middle of the ring and Randy Orton appeared behind him majestically, that's when the time started again. A total of 18 minutes, 31 seconds. That could have used a lot more time. That could have easily been a 45-minute to an hour match, especially since they were doing pre-taped bits. But, like always, WWE shit the bed. They're going to lay in it. They're going to roll around like pigs. And they're still going to come out smelling like roses because they think this is how wrestling should be handled right now. Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Another fucked up match that ended the wrong way. It was a good competitive match, don't get me wrong. But this match, like I said in my prediction show, should have ended with Samoa Joe winning via submission. But not because Seth Rollins tapped out, but he passed out. That's the way this should have been done. It was handled like shit. Both these guys basically came out looking weaker. Yes, Seth Rollins walks away with more momentum, but he walked away with what looked like a fluke win. Joe looks weaker for it because he got beat clean in what looked like a fluke finish. My point of view, not yours, not anyone else's, but mine. That's the way I look at it. This match lasted 15 minutes, 57 seconds, and it could have easily gone another 15 minutes and been a hell of a lot better and ended the way it should have. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho lasted 14 minutes, 1 second. Clearly could have used a lot more time. Not all matches are going to be the same time, an hour or 30 minutes, but it could have gone easy another at least 6 minutes. At least make it a 20-minute match, These guys could have done so much more. It wasn't my choice to win, but let's see how long he's going to keep it. The Hardy Boys versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on the matches. I'm shitting on how much time they were given. Every match kind of seemed rushed. And if you don't view it that way, I'm sorry, I do. Every match came off rushed. Hardy Boys versus Cesaro only lasted 12 minutes, 44 seconds. Yes, there was a lot of high-impact moves. There was some fuck-ups. There was, but it was a good match for those 12 minutes and 44 seconds. Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman only lasted 2 seconds less than the Hardy Boys. at 11 minutes, 42 seconds. Now, Braun Strowman did a lot of damage in that 11 minutes, but, like I said, clearly could have been with a little bit more time. But then you look at the way Roman Reigns was actually selling the injuries and what was being done to him last night. 11 minutes, 42 seconds kind of seems right because he came in supposedly injured, internal injuries, broken ribs, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is all a work, but, you know, he sold it actually for a change. And so 11:42 for them, not a bad thing. Neville versus Austin Aries, 11 minutes, 17 seconds. Now, these guys could have done with at least half an hour. I started falling asleep through this match because when I see these guys wrestle, I expect so much more out of them because I know what Austin Aries can do. I've seen what Neville can do. And we're getting basically a regular style match. A match that could be done on any given Monday Night Raw or 205 Live. There is not enough high impact moves. There's not enough aerial assaults. Nothing like that. I expect so much more out of cruiserweights. I look back on the WCW days of the cruiserweights. They did it right. WWE does not know how to handle the cruiserweights at all. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. The shortest match on the card, but I think one of the best on the show. In those 11 minutes and 11 seconds, they worked their asses off, and we got a kick-ass women's match. Now, yes, it could have been given more time, but it was an exceptionally good match. Now, these times add up to 1 hour, 35 minutes, 23 seconds, which is roughly 57.5% of the show. For comparison's sake, the overall match time percentage for all WWE pay-per-views since the start of 2013 has been 54%. So they gave 3.5% more time this year than they usually do. So it is a somewhat of a surprise. And here we go. Let's clear this away. And now next we're going to discuss Chris Jericho's schedule. Now, it's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors going on about Chris Jericho's actual schedule. Everyone was expecting him to depart WWE for a few months after WrestleMania. Then things changed, and it was then said that he was going to be leaving right after Payback. What the hell's going on? Nobody really knows. But we're going to read this article, and maybe we get a little bit of a clearer picture, but I doubt it. Thanks to his band Fozzy releasing a new album and announcing a month worth of tour dates to support it, we all thought Payback was going to be Chris Jericho's farewell to WWE, at least for a little bit of time. He then won the United States Championship from Kevin Owens in San Jose on April 30th. WWE announced he was moving from Raw to SmackDown with the belt, and we don't know what to believe. Now, Fozzy doesn't have a show until Friday night, so all of our speculation could be moot by tonight or tomorrow, as he could be booked to drop the title or any number of other possibilities. But if they opt to keep the belt on him and work around his other gig, well, it looks like the red, white, and blue strap could be the blue brand's version of Brock Lesnar's Universal title for the next few weeks. The band has a lot of Mondays off, but is booked every Tuesday until last one of May. Further, Jericho has a concert on Sunday the 21st, when SmackDown will hold its next brand-specific pay-per-view, Backlash. What does it mean? Who the fuck knows at this point? But when has that ever stopped us from wildly speculating in the past? And yes, we all do wildly speculate on what the hell is going on in the wrestling world, especially lately when it comes to Chris Jericho, because it is very strange. One minute he says he's leaving, next minute he says he's staying. It's all up in the air right now. No one is very sure what the fuck is going on. And no one really understands what the fuck was on Vince McMahon's mind when he decided to produce the horrific scene we've seen on Payback called the House of Horrors. I say horrific because just the details alone just boggle my fucking mind. Because it was in San Jose, the house in question was in Missouri. So they're trying to say that Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton traveled from Missouri to San Jose in enough time to finish off their match that night. It does not make sense. But that is the house, or I should say, that's the house that is in the talks right now of being the house that was the House of Horrors. And if you look at the house there and you look at the house that was shown on the pay-per-view, they are identical. This is the house that was used, and it is just very strange. Let me kick into this article, and then maybe we can figure this shit out. So, at the very least, last night's House of Horrors match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton at WWE Payback got everyone talking whether it was for better or worse. The crowd in the arena seemed to be bored by the long pre-tape segment and then even booed when the match finished in the ring. It was at least a unique attempt to do something new, no matter which side of the opinion coin you happen to fall upon. Interestingly, the house from that very match is now up for sale for $36,000. It's a 28-hour drive from San Jose and located at 39115 Business 10 Highway in Richmond, Missouri. That's right, Richmond, Missouri. So they're trying to say a 28-hour drive from San Jose. And we were supposed to believe that all happened in one night. Yes, we know that it was pre-taped. We are not stupid people. But how they thought that this was going to work and let us use our imaginations. It was completely dark in Missouri, and there was still light out when the limousine pulled up at the arena in San Jose. So we're not stupid. We don't figure that out. You've got night and day, and what, we're supposed to fall for it? I don't know. I'm surprised the house is going for $36K because it looks like garbage, but maybe it got a little boost since WWE wrestlers performed in it. I really don't know what to say about it all. It baffles me that Vince McMahon and company believe that the fans are that stupid that they're going to believe a 36-hour difference, and it's going to be done in like what, 20 minutes? Not even. No, it was like 15 minutes. Really, a 15-minute drive that is actually 36 hours or whatever it was. No, I'm not going to believe that bullshit. No, 28 hours, sorry. So, up next, like a lot of podcasters have discussed this house already, and I'm not going to dwell too much on it because I don't want to copy too much of what everyone else is doing. I'd rather do my own thing. Up next, BRYAN Alvarez on Sheamus being reckless, and he threw a tantrum on what Sheamus did at Payback last night to Jeff Hardy. Now, usually the guys over at the Bryan and Vinny radio show can obviously get opinionated, but this one takes the cake. After last night's match at Payback, in which Sheamus kicked Jeff Hardy right in the face, knocking his tooth out, BRYAN Alvarez, who also contributes to The Observer, went off on the Celtic Warrior, saying that he sucked in the ring if he can't do a proper kick to the chest or shoulder when Jeff was laying in position for it. BRYAN also said that he had no respect for Sheamus as a worker, and if it were his company, he would fire the guy. Now, there was a lot more, and I'm going to get into that shortly. Now, the F4WOnline.com went on an extensive rant about WWE superstar Sheamus on the Bryan and Vinny show last night. Alvarez blasted Celtic Warrior for his in-ring actions during his match at last night's pay-per-view, in which he teamed with Cesaro against the Hardy Boys. Now, like I just said, during the match, Jeff Hardy clearly lost a tooth because of getting kicked in the face. And these were the words of Bryan Alvarez. Jeff Hardy was not moving. He was not crawling. He was absolutely, positively as still as could be. He sat up and he gave himself to his opponent to kick him. Sheamus had a non-moving target. All he had to do was kick him in the chest, the shoulder, or whatever. This fucking guy kicks Jeff Hardy right in the fucking mouth and knocks his tooth out. Number one, how you can be that bad at your job is hard to fathom. Number two, Jeff wasn't moving a fucking muscle. This guy kicked him in the mouth and knocked his tooth out. If this would have been the first time, fine. No, Sheamus is the guy who ended the career of Daniel Bryan. How? Well, Daniel Bryan was laying there, giving the guy his head. Sheamus booted him as hard as he fucking could. Gave him a concussion, and that was the end of Daniel Bryan's career. You fucking suck at your job. I would never wrestle you. In 1,000 years, for no amount of money, would I ever wrestle Sheamus. I have no respect for him as a worker. I would not hire him. Quite frankly, if it were my company, I'd fire him. I'd go, head out there, get out on the indie scene, and practice because you suck. And if you get better, you can come back. Can we fucking stop hurting people? Those were the words of Bryan Alvarez. Now, I think he went off a little bit too far. Just slightly. And he could have reined it in a lot more than he did. But clearly he was emotionally invested in that match. He's... And, it was a fuck up. It happens. Mistakes fucking happen. You cannot help it. Sometimes it happens. And you're the one left holding the bag when everyone wants to shit on you. So, now, is it happening too often? Maybe. Maybe they need to have a sit down with Sheamus and talk to him and say, look, you either got to start watching what you're doing in that ring, or you're going to get demoted to NXT, where you're going to have to learn and get better at your craft before you're allowed back up on the main roster. Or the Performance Center is another one. You know what? At this point in Sheamus's career, he's been to the top, and now he's basically just skating there in the mid-level area, and he needs a different scene, I believe. I think he needs to go out into the indies and actually, spend some time there and recreate himself a little bit, because we don't want to see too many of these mistakes happen. I'm not saying he should go. I think it would be smart of him to reinvent himself, come back as a new Sheamus, but, it is what it is. Accidents do happen in the wrestling world. It is a dangerous form of sport. I say different form of sport because it's classified as entertainment. I still think these guys and girls and women that compete in pro wrestling are still athletes, because they do shit that no other sports related activity can do. But that's my thoughts. Moving on, we're going to move into Andrea DeMarco and her comments on her release. Now, following the release of Backstage Interviewer, I better take a drink before I fuck this all up. Following the release of Backstage Interviewer Andrea DeMarco from her WWE contract, she was asked for comment regarding the situation. Andrea had nothing bad to say, though, stating the following: I'm incredibly grateful for the time I spent with WWE. I learned so much and made forever friends. I'm thankful to the WWE Universe for always showing love and support. I'm not upset that it's over. I'm only filled with gratitude. It's time for me to continue to conquer the world on my terms. With guts and grace, anything is possible. She left on a high note. That's good. I like seeing that, and that's why I bring you guys reports like this. Because everyone wants to throw mud. When they leave a company or get released, they sling mud. They throw a lot of shit in the direction. It's not their fault they were released. It's the company's. And to me, when I see this, I appreciate it. I think that the person that left shows some respect and some charisma. Yes, they got released, but they're not afraid to throw themselves back out there and get to where they want to actually be. Now, I'm not really familiar with Andrea DeMarco, but, you know, I was only started watching NXT in the last 3 weeks or so you can't fault me for not really knowing her. She looks hot, but I mean, do I know how she speaks or what? Who the fuck knows? Hulk Hogan wants to be a part of the Bullet Club. Yes, you heard it right. Hulk Hogan, that, 90-year-old, has never been. He made it big because, not his wrestling talent, that's for damn sure. But during an autograph signing in Southern California, Hulk Hogan was asked by a fan if he would ever join the Bullet Club. Hogan responded by saying this: "I would love to be in the Bullet Club. I'd love to be the OG for the Bullet Club. Teach them boys how to really get corrupt." That's straight out of the mouth of, you know, one of the supposedly greatest men in wrestling ever. Now, I don't see him as that, but I do respect what he has done for the business, even though he couldn't wrestle himself out of a fucking paper bag. He got over with the very young generation. The kids loved him. There's a lot of adults that loved him as well, but there's probably just as many that hated him. Because, for one, when it came to wrestling, he did not really put on a good show. You know, he could bleed. You know, he bled very well. He just couldn't fucking wrestle. What he did with the NWO was pretty damn good. No one can take that away from him. No one can take away the Hulkamania bit. But, as a wrestling fan, he sucked. I hated his fucking guts. Did not want nothing to do with him. But that was me. There are many fans that love Hulk Hogan. And like I said, I don't take anything away from what he's done in the business. I just don't respect him as a wrestler. Just me. Moving on. Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger talks about leaving the WWE. Now, after spending 10 years in the WWE, Jack Swagger was granted his release from the company just over a month ago. Many speculated as to what the official reason was for his leaving, so Swagger spoke about it a bit on Main Event Radio. Excuse me. Swagger didn't seem to have any bitter feelings towards his former employer and just noted that he valued himself at a certain price while the WWE saw it differently. He also added that having a family now, he wants more time to take care of them and believes that spending time in Japan would be one of the best options for that. Jack gave credit to Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes for leaving and finding so much success outside of the company as being the inspiration for him to attempt to do the same. He didn't confirm anything regarding Impact Wrestling despite his good friend Dutch Mantell working there, but there was obvious interest in the way that the new management has been running the company. You know, Jack Swagger, there's been many jokes made about him and his career in WWE. He's been, you know, manning the catering table and blah blah blah. This guy, for the skill he had, you'd think that the WWE would have had bigger plans for him, more storylines. You know, he's a gifted and talented wrestler. He needed a manager, a proper manager on the mic, and it didn't work with Dutch Mantell as his manager because yeah, that just sucked. You know, to me, cheap heat, as in, you know, nation versus nation, race versus race, it does not work for me. I hate it. There's a lot of fans that do not enjoy it. But, you know, WWE always goes back to those, and I don't understand why. I wish Jack Swagger success on the indie circuit. I really do. Maybe he reinvents himself once again, comes back, and blows someone's mind, or blows Vince McMahon, and he gets a good paid job then. Who knows? But that is it for now. I will see you right after Monday Night Raw with my analysis of the show and my review and reactions. And you please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Smash the like button and help this channel grow. That is my intentions, bringing this channel up and bringing you something different. So come back tonight, and right after Raw, we're going to do this all over again. So see you then.